Lisa Jacobson has written a book, and this is going to be the first reading of this book. So it's a new verse novel called The Sunlit Zone, as you can see on the screen, that explores the impact of science and technology on our daily lives in the 21st century. The manuscript was shortlisted for the 2009 Victorian Premier Literary Awards. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Lisa Jacobson. Okay. Thank you.
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm aware that you've had a very packed day of stimulating papers today, and I'm hoping that this slightly different presentation will put you into a slightly different space. It's just going to be a short one, just for half an hour. I'm going to read from my new book, The Sunlit Zone, first reading, I'm excited to say, just for 20 minutes, and then hopefully you may have some questions about that. So if you have been enjoying your left brain, you just need to make a slight shift to the right for 30 minutes, sit back and relax and enjoy a story really, which is in verse. I'm just going to skip around a little bit to make sure that I focus on the technological thing.
Thanks.
You probably can't see this, but I'm going to hold it up just in case. It's in verse, but it's a novel, and the shape is it's like a poem. So the Sunlit Zone alternates between the years 2050, set in Melbourne, and 2010, set back in time. And just to contextualise it for you, the narrator is a scientist called North. And I might explain a bit as I go along. I'm starting from the beginning, and it's called Part 1, Whale, and it's set in Anglers Bay, somewhere in Melbourne, 2050. 1. All Saturday afternoon, I watched through my front window the blue whale that's beached itself amidst drifts of kelp on the foreshore of Anglers Bay. Volunteers stream in like diaspora, dissipate. Waverley will be there for sure. She'd nurse a sea slug if it were beached. Already the tides are sliding back into a field of waves that reflect the darkness of Melbourne in July. A tensile wall restrains the sea, but not the view. This flat is on the second floor. My skin phone glows. North, sides Waverley. Where are you? This is the third whale stuck this week. I helped out with the other two. Sorry, mate, I sighed. I'm doing stuff. See you. 2. The carbon counter on the wall reads -2. You have exceeded your carbon limit for this week. I drag a woolly jumper on, push back the 2 long sleeves my mum knitted. Her house robot could easily crank out one of these, but North, she says, it's therapy. I sit amidst the rubble on my desk, heat sweets, god junk, a lone earring, lilac pebbles from a resort beach. Words glimmer on my loadable screen. I can't quite, almost read. I refocus until the text solidifies. Notations made in my brain scrawl. I save the imprint and proceed. Soon dusk crawls in. But it's hard to work with that damn whale wedged in on sand, stranded on some ancestral path. Poor blue bugger, big as a pub. It's just a clone, I think. No one's sighted a real whale for years. The bay has been restocked since then with GM replicas, but they just keep on beaching. One whale calls the whole herd in. 500 Southern Rights were bled at Warrnambool last year. The sickly death-sweet funeral smoke filled every home. The sand is thick with ash and bone. I take last night's leftover pasta and whack it in the laser wave and fill a bowl with dog pellets. Sit, bear, I say. Slowly, Bear sits, lowering his blue rump to the tiles and wumping his thick tail. Bear, designer dog gone wrong, unwanted fashion accessory, best friend, bought cheap from a Gen Pets laboratory. There's not much room for him, but I have a bear-sized flexi flap. Weekdays he spends in the garden below our flat with next door's ultraviolet cat. I eat my dinner on the couch, tuning to Web City. Bear scoffs his meal and plonks down at my feet, eyeing my pasta mournfully. Not much, just crap as usual. The news sub-edited by hackers before it even reaches me. On Beijing's latest dome show hit, Man in the Moon, a bunch of pretty Chinese undergrads float weightless in their lunar home. By then it's 10, I kill the screen and wake up Bear. Come on, boy. He galumps towards the flexi flap. I push him through. He sniffs night air and cocks a leg against the gate. We head down to the shore. No moon tonight, just pale and roomy stars. The desalination plant casts green light on a continent of gleaming sand. The tide is out. Bear snuffs at kelp, rubbish, leaps over luminous jellyfish. The beached whale looms ahead like a fabulous fruit the sea's washed in. Bear gives a deep, full-throated bark and navigates it cautiously. A dozen rescue volunteers attend the whales bowled ahead. The mood's funereal. I nod hello, but there's not much that anyone can do, though Waverley persists, beetling along the whale's flanks with her hydro kit like an extraterrestrial stick insect. Her hair springs up in a crazy frizz. When Bear spots Waverley, he leaps with ravenous joy and slobbers on her scrawny neck. Oh, Bear, my bear, she croons. He flops, drooling. The whale's flank feels smooth and chill as long life meat. The skin secretes a fishy smell that's just a bit too strong, like baked in buckets, stewing on the pier. It's just a clone, I tell myself again. Waverley strokes its big grey head, the spout expelling ropey exhalations that diminish, fray and thin. Then, nothing. The whale's eye dark as a lake and sorrowful. Everything stops. Even the waves cease muttering and all is still. The eye empties as if a plug's been pulled. We watch as it recedes into opaqueness. That's the beginning of the novel. I'm just going to flick to back in time to 2000. Well, it's actually let me check. Sorry, not 2010, but 2020. 2020, back in time, Anglers Bay, and tell you a little bit about what's happening there. Anglers Bay was filling up, and this is when North is, this is before she was born. And it's her parents are in Anglers Bay at that point. Anglers Bay was filling up with Queenslanders back then who'd fled, fearing more tsunamis, and 50-something grandmums with their families who found the city compounds too restrictive. City kids were polished and expensive, their bikes too shiny, clothes too new, their parents grey coiffed and retired or soon to be. Seaside sales dropped rapidly that year, although the ocean here was calm, almost domesticated. The local residents were courteous, but fixed. They did their shopping at the local strip, while the new mob shopped online at Foodnet. Past quarter-acre house blocks newly sold, the local kids rode beat-up bikes, rusty with salt and sand. The streets acquired a freshly painted ice cream hue. Cottages rebuilt or subdued by owners desiring loftier views. The old salts hunkered down. Tom's Fish and Chips, Pixie's Cafe, Dot's Frocks and Bayside Gifts. The rest sold up or acquiesced to pet salons, infant boutiques, Shigung cafes and sushi booths. Reluctantly, the town made room for them. Designer embryos had been novelties, expensive options for the privileged and popular among celebrities until a local company slashed the cost for each newborn and threw in a new electric Ford. Dream Genes was spawned. Wistful parents could tick a box and order in a child who could excel in law, be strong or fast or just pretty, like little Cello Green next door, born 3 months before Finn and me. She got her face on a swag of zines. Dream babies, they called them on TV. Fertility clinic and other soaps like this sprang up quickly. On Quantum and 60 Minutes, the older scientists thrashed it out with the newest wave of graduates, already rich on GM profit, genetic, robotic, nano, infotech, whatever it was. My mother ignored it. What will be, she said, and Richard agreed. Their neighbour Jo was swelling with the neat bundle of cello green. Feline and graceful were Jo's requisites, with a capacity for turning heads. Jo left brochures when she dropped in. Read these, Jo said, and rinsed her cup. There's a discount for referrals, 10%. It's not too late for you to select a few last-minute prerequisites. North's mother's pregnant at this stage. The usual small-town telepathy ensured the news was spread that Flora had refused all tests, even the standard ultrasound. Jo's brochures lay around until my mother tossed them in the eco bin. Cello was born in March and named after the instrument her curved shape would later imitate. Her eyes a deep cerulean, the colour of Dream Jean's blue logo. Just dropping in, said Jo, her eyes lit like a Jesus freak's with the drug she took to reduce her weight. My mother poured 2 cups of tea. Completely pain-free labour, said Jo, over in minutes, and no stitches. She shifted cello on her stylish hip and smoothed the hair, curled wantonly across her infant's ear. No cry ever passed that baby's lips, or at least Jo claimed it never did. Don't let that woman in here again, Flora said to Richard when she left. Okay, I'm just going to skip ahead. Back into 2050. Okay, we're halfway through the reading. We're back in 2050 and North, the scientist, is, remember she saw the whale on the beach, she's now going to visit their octogenarian parents. Some of us have a few of those. So this is Anglers Bay, Part 3, 2050. Sunday, Dad turns 83. Mum and I give him a small party. Just the 3 of us for lunch, that's it. I carefully wrap his gift, a bonsai gum in star-flecked holophane, and put it on the top rack of my pedal flute. In Bear, I say, and Bear leaps in. I pedal stationary till the slipstream kicks in, release the velocity switch and vroom, we're off in a silver streak, closely resembling a flute on wheels. At 100k, Bear's ears blow back, jowls salt loose, ecstatic as he gulps down draughts of wind. My left arm aches, I rub it but in vain. As I draw near my parents' house, the ache begins to radiate up the tendon in my neck. My sister, haunting me again, the ghostly tenant I can't evict from the heart-shaped house inside my ribs. Jo Green, which is Cello's mum, moved on some years ago to a dome inside the city precinct. The new owners have let her garden go to seed. Her plump rose bushes are stumps choked by tall weeds. My parents never moved despite the spectre of tragedy. The house grew over this in time in tune, in turn, muted memory. The door scan confirms I'm not some god-junk salesman trying to offload old DVDs of Revelations. It's me, I say to Mum's silhouette. Hi love, she says, hang on a sec. She thought codes the flexi screen, gives me a bird peck on my cheek. The house is a nest of melancholy with green mood walls. Dad selects a richer hue whenever my mum leaves the room. Your dad's out back, says Mum. Take Bear straight through. Are his paws clean? Robert has just vacuumed. Robert leaves a few dirty spots, but Mum doesn't seem to notice. When her hip got bad, she gave in to me. He's a superseded model. Robotic technology moves quickly. Hip implants would fix Mum instantly, but she doesn't like doctors or surgery. Bear's toenails clack on the living zone. His nose tracks Dad, whom he adores, into the garden near the aviary he built when we were kids. The cage bright lit with clumps of budgies nattering. I watch him, grey-haired bent over the plants he soaks with his own piss. To save on water, he insists. Richard, Mum calls, it's North. Says Dad. It's north. What's that? North's here. Who's here? It's north, love. North. My parents eat small meals that digest easily. My dad's heart troubles him as it's done for years. There's a lot of white space on my plate. I strip fish from bones, fill up on bread. How's work, love? Mum says. Good. My stock response, alert to any rocks that might ensnare or trip us up. Talking shop can set father and me off. We graze in very different paddocks. Any research trips, he asks. Not yet, I say, step carefully. Maybe Cape York if we get funding. Cape York, says Dad. Oh, North, love, no, I wouldn't go. The water's full of transgenics. They found a trout there late last year with human ears. Oh, Richard, Mum expels a long breath forcibly. Rosebud's nice, says Dad to me. And just the last bit here, just to finish off. Still in 2050, I just wanted to give you a bit of a sense of the world of the Sunlit Zone, which is a world where people now have designer pets, lion cats, for example. As beautiful as a lion, as glorious and big, but as domesticated as a tabby cat. They have floral goldfish to match their couches, things like that. So this is at Cello's house. Cello is now all grown up. It's Sunday early evening and I'm sitting at my desk enjoying a stack of things I've trawled, fractal jeans and half-browsed biozines. A scrag comes in from Gen Pets. Mini pig sale, variegated. Then Cello sides. The message glimmers in the local space near my right ear. North, come for tea. I suppose. There's not much here to eat. My habit gene kicks in and finds the familiar slot, grinds into gear. Cello lives a half-hour drive away. I take the sea road, my flute humming across a ribbon of bitumen. Black sky above, water beneath. Bear rests his jowls upon my knee and sleeps. The distant city is domed, cream-lit. I drive distractedly, thinking how much can change in just a week. We drive on through darkness, the dog and me. When we get to Cello's about 6:30, Bear licks my hand and wumps his tail as soon as we turn into her street. Cello's lawn is crystal grass, hot pink, synthetic and sparkling. Bear leaps from the flute straight onto it, leaving a trail of pink paw prints. Just me, I call, coming, she says. Behind the flexi screen, I see Cello's large shape, swathed in a clinging mauve fabric. Big Cat nudges her hip gently and aims a lazy hiss at Bear. The dog retreats into pink-veiled dark. We go inside and leave him there. Cello is 9 months pregnant and 5 days overdue. Her mother Jo is in a spin. Even now we hear Cello's skin phone zing. Bloody mum, she says. Big Cat purrs steadily through all of this. He is a lion tabby cross, 50 kilos of purring thunder with a tawny pelt and mane. Cello strokes him. The phone falls silent once again. The living zone displays her flair for home design. Cello's business is flourishing with celebrity clients on her list. I go into the cold zone, grab a toxic city beer and slug it at the kitchen bench while Cello feeds Big Cat. I watch her lug goat meat to the cat's large bowl out on the deck. Each slab is heavy as 3 bricks. I'm pregnant, North, not sick, she said last time I offered to help with this, but lately she's been right off meat. Ah, she says, and dry retches. Stuff it, I think, and drink my beer. Cello's house is 0 carbon and expensive with a 10-star eco rating from the government. Pink light shines from the sun unit. Her walls curve, no sharp corners. I chug my drink and watch Big Cat deftly gulp down his meal. He swallows and emits roars, shaking the meat to ensure it's dead, sole remnant of his lion instinct. Okay, I might just stop there. about 10 minutes for that, so thanks. I'm aware this talk's a little different from the ones you've had before, but feel free to ask anything.
Okay. 1, 2. Questions? Yep.
What was your motivation behind writing this book? What was your motivation and inspiration?
Thanks. Good question. I think as a writer and as a human being, at 47, I kind of stand on the cusp between an age that is accelerating into technology at a great rate, and an age where I was at a primary school where we drew on chalkboards to do our fractions. My daughter uses an iPad. Sometimes we speculate in the future that she'll say to her grandchildren, you know, I used to use an iPad at school, and I'll say, oh, really? That's so old-fashioned. So I think one of the things that emerged as I started writing the book was that I wanted to explore both realms of the technological age, the amazing, wonderful things it does, and you might have picked up one of the things we have now is, in 2050, is skin phones. I found something like it on the internet actually. I did a bit of a search, it's there somewhere, implanted here, so we do that. They don't work, you can bang them like that. But I also wanted to explore possibly the other side of technology, the kind of the hurtling pace of it, and the way that generations that aren't, say, now in their 20s, are really kind of have a foot in both camps, and there's an ambivalence about that. There's a tension between the two.
In relation to the hybrid designer pets, did you have any other models in mind when writing the book, or have you conceptualized any?
Sorry, what was the first phrase?
In relation to the hybrid animal pets, the lion, cats, etc.
Did I have any other?
Do you have any other versions? Do you have any versions when you were writing, or are there other versions in the book, or what's your ideas on that?
Well, I have my floral goldfish, which I'm very fond of, because if you have a tartan couch or a particular fabric, you know, paisley or something, then you can actually have goldfish to match that, which I quite like the idea of. There are some things gone wrong. It's set by the ocean, so there is one of the things that happens is that there's a leak in a leak from a genetic lab into the ocean, and so a lot of it's mainly said about the impact of what some of the creatures in the ocean and what's happened to the ocean as a result. And part of North's research is that she finds some. She's doing a research paper on fish that have sprouting tomato leaves. So that she opens them up and they have tomato seeds in them and actually tomato plants coming out of them. I have Big Cat, the lion cat. Bear is blue, of course, the dog. He went a bit wrong, he's got a blue ear. Do I have any others? I have massive flocks of stingrays that North is monitoring. So she goes scuba diving, and there are, you know, 5,000 rays in a cloud that have come in for no particular reason she can't work out. So things are kind of morphing and going wrong in various ways. I know that Margaret Atwood, if you've read her books, has a lot of fun with pigoons and rackhumps and crossbreeds. I have fruit salad trees, which are not uncommon even now, as you know. I have some, when she goes to university on the Gold Coast, the master's students have made frogs from memory. I'm not sure if I took this out of the book, that actually sing. They'll mimic you and sing tunes. And sorry, I have beach resorts with rainbow-coloured sand, different hues. Sorry.
I did like the way you went about the storytelling by these sort of disruptions and oscillations in different times. Are they woven together at the end in some interrelated way? Should we purchase the book to...
Indeed.
Do you have a box of them outside?
I have books for sale here, and I'd be delighted if anyone would like to purchase one tonight. Yeah.
No, but I wondered how you sort of wove the different strands of time together at the end.
Yeah, good question. The book alternates between 2050 and the past. So it starts in 2050, and then the second chapter is 2020, and then it's 2050, and then it's 2025, and then it's 2050, and it's about 2030. And the past actually catches up to the present every second chapter until at the end, without giving it away, the past is actually caught up with the present. I think one of it's another question about, I read a lot of, I guess, dystopian, speculative, science fiction kind of stuff, which leaves us with no redemption. And one of the things that's really important for me, I think, in this age is that we do have hope, that it's not all kind of, you know, the world's a dystopia, and that becomes very claustrophobic, I think. So one of the things that's very important for me in the book is to have a redemptive quality to it at the end. But you have to buy it to find out what happens.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.